Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
What's up, everybody? I'm JT Magnum, and welcome to NinerNews. Now, this is going to be a big episode for you guys because I didn't do one last week, and I have a lot to talk about. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on with San Francisco, and I want to get a lot of things out of the way and talk about, you know, what I think is going to happen and what I think should happen, and some thank yous. But first of all, the Niners finished the season strong. They finished at 8-8. They beat the Arizona Cardinals, and you know, kudos to Jim Harbaugh. He got a victory at the end, and you know, I'm proud. I'm proud to be a Niners fan. I'm proud of what he did for this franchise. He turned it around. I mean, from 2003, 2004 to 2011, it was horrible. It was just dark years. It was hard to watch. It was just absolute torture to be a 49ers fan and just know that how good your team used to be and see him just, you know, to see him just go, you know, to see him just go from that to just sucking year after year after year and just wow. But for him to come to the franchise 2011, turn it around, get to 3 straight NFC championships, and you know, despite what people think, I mean, 8-8 was pretty much good for this year. I mean, with all the injuries, 18 players on injured reserve, a lot of players injured and shuffling on offensive line, a lot of players injured on defense. I mean, you got to give hats off to the coaching staff just for that alone, doing a great job. So, I mean, if you talk about all the injuries, let's talk about offense first. Michael Crabtree was hurt some of the year. Stevie Johnson was hurt a lot of the year. Brandon Lloyd was hurt a little bit. Quentin Patton missed a lot of games. Bruce Ellington missed games. Those are the wide receivers. Anthony Davis missed a lot of games with a concussion. He missed a lot of games at the start of the year anyways, too, because he was injured. Jonathan Martin had to fill his spot. And Jonathan Martin really wasn't even on the team, obviously, until this year. Alex Boone held out. He came back, finished strong. He wasn't the greatest, but he did well. Iupati had a rough season. He was injured some of the year as well. He had an up and down season. Still made the Pro Bowl. I have no clue how, but he made the Pro Bowl. The centers, we went through like, what, 3? We went from Dan Kilgore to Marcus Martin to another one. It was just unreal how many centers we had to go through the year. And if you know that centers are really key position, they call out the blocking schemes, they call the defensive schemes. They help tremendously, and it's hard when you're shifting offensive linemen left and right. And the Niners went through that. On offense, Frank Gore was pretty much the workhorse. Carlos Hyde got hurt a little bit. We lost Kendall Hunter. I mean, it was just it just seemed like one after the other. Vernon Davis got hurt. He wasn't really himself all year long. Vance McDonald was hurt almost all year long. It just seems like, you know, pieces for the 49ers just kept falling, and it was hard to come back. That was just on offense. On defense, Ian Williams, the starting defensive tackle, well, he was starting because Glenn Dorsey was out. So Glenn Dorsey missed pretty much the whole year, never even came back. Ian Williams missed a significant amount of the year. He was injured, so we were down to our 3rd string and 4th string defensive tackles. Alden Smith missed 9 games due to suspension. Ahmad Brooks came in overweight, played, then started being a douchebag. I don't know what happened to him, but he just started getting all dumb or something like that, and Aaron Lynch took his place. Thank God Aaron Lynch was really good, along with Dan Skuta filling his role. Of course, the middle linebackers, Patrick Willis started the season with Michael Wilhoit, then he got hurt for the season. So it was Michael Wilhoit, who's not really your really true starter on defense. He's more of a journeyman, kind of like, you know, a plug-in player that you put in, and mostly like a special teams kind of guy. And Chris Borland, who was a surprise, who did very well. And Navarro Bowman. Navarro Bowman was hurt. So Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, Brooks came in overweight, and Alden Smith missed most of the year due to suspension. So right there alone is 4 linebackers, 3 linebackers who were all pros and Pro Bowlers missed the season. And you know, cornerbacks, Tremaine Brock, Chris Culliver was hurt. The rookie Jimmy Ward got hurt at the beginning of the year, pretty much lost him for the rest of the year. Eric Reed had a concussion. He ended up missing the last game of the season. Antoine Bethea was the lone bright spot. It just one after the other. Injuries were, you know, finally decimating the 49ers. And I think finishing 8-8 was actually pretty well, given their schedule and given the competition that they faced. So if you look at it that way, I know a lot of people are disappointed and everything like that, but if you look at it in that light, I mean, to conquer all those injuries and to deal with all that, the 49ers actually had a pretty successful season. So at least that's one way to look at it. But other than that, thank you to Jim Harbaugh for turning the team around, and thank you for a good job you did this year despite all the injuries and stuff. But now it's time to move on. Who's going to be the next coach of the 49ers? In my opinion, I got a couple ideas. I really like Vic Fangio. He's a defensive coordinator for the 49ers. What he did this year was amazing with what he was given and all the, shake-ups and people injured and people plugging in. He did a great job. I think he'd be a great NFL head coach. But from what I hear so far, they're trying to interview Dan Quinn from the Seahawks, Adam Gase from the Denver Broncos. They're looking at Darrell Bevell as well, the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. And I don't think those are the guys I would want to bring in. I'm not quite sure if those are the guys. I'm also hearing about Kyle Shanahan along with Mike Shanahan. And I'm an old school guy. I really like old school offense, and I like that West Coast style, run it down your throat, yet pass it, high efficiency passing offenses. And I think Mike Shanahan is the guy that Colin Kaepernick needs. I really think and believe in my heart. I mean, he was great for Steve Young. He was great, obviously, for Joe Montana. And I believe Steve Young and Joe Montana are pushing the 49er front office to try to get Mike Shanahan in. And he's great. He's a great coach. I don't know if you know this, but he's one of the best offensive minds in football. And the guy can coach. The guy can coach his butt off. And I really see him fitting well with that offense and leaving the defense to Vic Fangio still. And I don't know, there's something about Mike Shanahan that just proven winning. I think Frank Gore, and we'll talk about this in a second, but he's just a good offensive minded coach, and I really like that hire. Like that would be a kind of good coach to get, because he's not going to play conservative. He's not going to play he's gonna want to blow teams out. Like he's gonna go for the throw. He's gonna go for the wins. He's gonna do those things. Not run on 3rd and 5 when you're losing, or when you're winning by 7 and you leave it on your defense and keep them on the field when you can just get the first down. And I've seen a lot of that over the years, the last 3 years. And not to knock Jim Harbaugh, but it's just too many close games. And I felt the Niners should have blown out teams, and they just leave teams in the game, and then we lose it at the end, or we have to have a defensive stand to win it at the end, like we did in the NFC Championship against Atlanta. And I just see too many of those nail-biting games that we lose because of fumbles, or we lose because of bad calls, and we leave it into refs' hands because it shouldn't be close in the first place. So you bring a guy in like that that's offensive minded, he could score some points, let that defense do its thing, because, it's going to be great coming back next year with all those guys coming back, and hopefully some new signees or sign some guys back. And I'll talk about that in a second as well. But I really like Mike Shanahan. That if you gave me a choice right now who I would take out of any NFL head coach or any other offensive coordinator or whatever, it would be Mike Shanahan. And I don't care about his son come in and play offensive coordinator, because we all know Mike Shanahan deals with the offense. So I really like that a lot. If I had any other choice, I don't know about the Seattle guys. I don't know if Darrell Bevell's the guy for the 49ers. I do like the defensive coordinator coach, but that leaves you with 2 defensive-minded coaches along with one offense, and we need offense. We don't need defense. Defense is fine. Vic Fangio has that defense along with Jim Tomsula on lock. Like, those guys know what they're doing on the defense, and they need to be able to bring in somebody that's offensive-minded. So that's my opinion. But moving on, free agents: Chris Culliver, Parrish Cox, Justin Smith is not a free agent, but he's mulling retirement. Frank Gore and Mike Iupati. I don't know who else is a free agent. I don't think anybody else is a free agent, but if there are, you can let me know in the comments and I'll talk to you about them. But Chris Culliver and Parrish Cox, I would like to see one of those 2 brought back. I don't know who. I don't think they're going to be able to sign both, and I think Parrish Cox is probably going to be the guy that ends up moving on. But I really would like to see Cully back. I really like Chris Culliver's game. I like his coverage. I like Parrish Cox as well, but I don't think they're going to be able to afford him, especially with the season he had this year. Justin Smith, from what I hear, the 49ers players are begging him to not retire, just stay at least one more year. And I'm hoping so, because he can help teach Tank Carradine and the other guys on the defensive line how to play the game. And I really like Justin Smith. I love him a lot. He's a great inspiration on the 49ers defense, and I really hope he comes back next year. Frank Gore, I don't see any decline. I mean, I see some decline, but not really. I mean, the guy can still hit the holes well. He's got great vision. He knows how to run. He knows how to keep himself healthy, and I really hope they bring him back for at least a year or two. You know, let him finish out his career in San Francisco. Don't let him retire with somebody else. Let him stay in San Francisco where he belongs. He's had his great years here, and obviously he still got it. He's still playing well. Arizona was trying all they can to stop him, and they still couldn't. I really like Frank Gore a lot. And Mike Iupati, I think he's another guy you should sign. Keep the continuity on the offensive line, and keep Mike Iupati there, and try to, you know, shore up that offensive line and maybe draft some other ones later, which I'll talk about in a second. Now, the bubble players: Vernon Davis, Ahmad Brooks, and Craig Dahl. I think Ahmad Brooks is on his way out. Aaron Lynch proved that he can play along with Dan Skuta. I think that Aaron Lynch is obviously the cheaper option. They got some great outside linebackers that are still moving up, and I think Ahmad Brooks is done. He makes too much money. He's going to be released, if not traded, and I don't see him. I just don't see him staying there. I hope they can maybe trade him, get a little draft pick for the draft, and maybe draft somebody else, maybe some offensive line depth, but I don't think he's going to be there. Vernon Davis now, it's hard to say. I really love Vernon Davis. I love his speed. I love his game. I just hate when he jump catches, and some of, you know, I think with a different coach, maybe a Mike Shanahan kind of coach or an offensive-minded coach, Vernon Davis will thrive again. The only problem with Vernon Davis is I don't want him to go to the Seahawks. I don't want them to cut him. I don't want them to release him, and that's what the 49ers have a habit of doing, is just releasing players, and then they let them go, and then the Seahawks snatch the players. And right now the Seahawks could use a tight end, and if they had a guy like Vernon Davis, oh my God, I don't even want to know or face him every two games a year playing that team. He's going to literally kill us every 2 years. He's going to want to kill us. And the way he plays and the way his, when he's motivated at least, I don't want to see him play again. I don't want to see him play on the Seahawks. So I just think that's where he's going to go. I think if they release him, he's going to go there. And I know a lot of people saying cut him, just cut him. But they don't realize the circumstances of what happens when you cut a player and where he could go. So I see that. Now, Craig Dahl, I hope he's gone. I don't care if he got the ceiling interception yesterday, the game-sealing interception. I don't care anything about him. He is horrible in coverage. He's just absolutely horrible, period. And I think he needs to go. And I hope he gets his papers, because he makes too much money to be a backup anyways. I just want him out. Now, draft position, we're number 15 overall. And real quick, I want to talk about the team needs. And I think our first overall pick should be a wide receiver. I have a guy in mind. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to see him. His name is Sammie Coates. He plays for Auburn. He's about 6'2", 200 pounds, a little over 200 pounds. And the guy is strong, the guy is tall, and the guy is a burner. The guy can just flat out fly in the open field, and that's what the San Francisco 49er needs, which is what the San Francisco 49ers need, I'm sorry. And that's what I'm going to get to right now, is the team needs for this year, and my hopes for what they'll look for. And number one priority, I think, is wide receiver. I know Michael Crabtree, and I didn't mention him in the free agents, and I'm sorry. Michael Crabtree is going to probably be gone. I don't think he's going to sign back with the 49ers. I don't think they need him. But they already have a player like him in Stevie Johnson and Anquan Bolden. We don't need that. We need a speed guy, wide receiver, which is why I'm talking about the team needs. Wide receiver, for sure. We need a tall, fast, speed guy. We got Bruce Ellington. He's a short, fast, speed guy. We have him. We're fine with that. But we need a tall, fast, speed, starting wide receiver. We didn't get one last year in the draft when all those wide receivers were available. It's time now for the 49ers to draft one. I think Sammie Coates is a good one. We also need a defensive tackle, defensive end depth. It just seems to be they just keep going down. We need to develop some guys, get some guys going, because Justin Smith, like I said, could retire or he could stay, but still we need to develop somebody under him or develop somebody now, for the future. We need a cornerback. There's a lot of cornerbacks that we have, but they all just seem to be getting injured, or they're all coming off an injury, or it just seems like we can't keep them healthy. So get some cornerback depth. That's what we definitely need. Safety depth. Eric Reed has too many concussions. He's already had 3 concussions now in 2 years, and it's getting to be a little extreme. I mean, he keeps getting knocked out of games, and Craig Dahl has to finish the game, and nobody wants to see Craig Dahl. O-line depth. We need some offensive line depth at center. We need some more guards. We need another tackle. We need depth. Draft depth. Maybe they could potentially be starters. Who knows? But as people start to get up, progress in their careers and try to ask for more money, a la Alex Boone, a la Anthony Davis in the future. Who knows? But I'm just saying we need to draft some O-line depth. So those are my team needs. Those are what I think the 49ers need. I will touch up more and more as the off season goes along with the playoffs and stuff like that, and we'll figure out, as the 49ers, do announce their head coach and everything. We'll talk about that in the future. But for now, these are the things that I think the 49ers need. And I'd like to thank all of you guys for watching during the season. It's been great. Just keep up with the Niners. Let these guys know, that what a great job they've done. Tweet at them. Do whatever you can to, let these guys know that you're proud of them as 49ers, and hopefully they stay. I want this team to stay intact, at least for the most part. We just need little pieces here and there, I think, once the guys come back from injuries, and we can be a great team again with a good coach. So we'll see what happens. But thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to leave a like, and don't forget to leave comments. Let me know what you guys think of the season. Let me know what you guys think of what we need for team needs this year, and what we need for the 49ers in the future, and who you think the coach should be, and who do you think, what's in your mind, what kind of coach do we need for the San Francisco 49ers for the future? All right. So for JT Magnum and Niner News, I'm out. Peace.